Move to Gaza. It's still boiling over, and now the latest attempt to defuse the situation has hit a hitch in response to the shooting of an Israeli soldier. The bullet hit his helmet. Israel froze the transfer of Qatari money into the Gaza Strip. Now, Israeli media report that the Security Cabinet has approved the resumption of Qatari money into the Gaza Strip for the payment of salaries by Hamas. It's part of an unofficial cash-for-quiet ceasefire agreement, which will see $90 million transferred into the Hamas-run Gaza Strip. Spin Doctors, this reminds me of the time when Netanyahu agreed to go for this ceasefire with Hamas, despite the 500 rockets that landed on Israel in just a single day, where actually he was willing to take a step that is extremely unpopular, but he regards as being vital for Israel's security. Ruthie, does Netanyahu not get enough credit for that?
Oh, he never gets enough credit for that. In fact, people on the right attack him for that. And the people on the left don't like him anyway, so he doesn't get credit for that. But that's one of the reasons that he is considered a great leader, is that on the one hand, he has strong ideology, and on the other, he's flexible when it comes to things that others are uncomfortable with, including myself. As, for example, the Qatari money. I would personally not have transferred that money to Gaza.
And what would you have done?
I think that Hamas should be treated more harshly, and because...
More harshly meaning?
Well, they certainly shouldn't be.
Because, you know, the other side is if the money doesn't go in, then the security situation is going to explode in our faces.
But, you know, the idea that only when people are impoverished they become terrorists has already been disproven. So.
Yossi, I see you raising your eyebrows. Where does the Labour Party stand on the question of the money?
I don't know what is the official line, but I'll tell you my view on that. In order to at least mitigate, alleviate the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the money ought to be transferred to Gaza. Of course, there are some misgivings, reservations about how it is being used, to whom it is being transferred. But the problem then is that vis-a-vis Netanyahu, that he doesn't have a policy. So when people criticizing Netanyahu about that, it is because inconsistency within his own policies. This is actually the problem. The thing that suppose that the money is being transferred, and our Prime Minister, our friend Rutihe, is kind of praising him for being such a great leader, that he would have some kind of a comprehensive policy vis-a-vis the Hamas, vis-a-vis the PLO, and so forth and so on. But there is paralysis vis-a-vis this situation, and therefore we are stuck with this kind of minor, sporadic moves one way or another. Yes, I would say, to his credit, the very fact that he is not willing, though he's being urged and asked to do so, to invade Gaza and to get Israel into another war, yes, he has to be praised, and I think that, yes, he does behave in that respect, you know, responsibly.
You praise Netanyahu on the one hand, but Einat, I'm not sure. Is it fair to say the Prime Minister doesn't have a strategy when it comes to Gaza? Because actually it looks like the government has a strategy, and that's to separate the Palestinian policy into two. You have the PLO in the West Bank, you have Gaza in Hamas in Gaza, and you just keep that conflict on a very low flame because it can't be solved, but as long as you prevent Palestinian reconciliation. Is that a fair summary?
I actually don't think that Netanyahu even goes to the point of looking at whether they're together or not. He has a view that the whole Palestinian issue is marginal. It's minor. You can even see it in a lot of the way he conducts himself. It is beneath him to make statements.
What do you mean?
He will not make statements on Palestinian issues. You will notice it. He'll talk about Iran. He'll talk about the Middle East. He'll talk about Russia. He will not talk about the Palestinians. There's a notion that this is beneath him to even address.
Beneath him or under control?
I would even say keeping it under control is part of the notion that this is not something worthy of actually addressing, that it's a minor issue in the general picture, and really this is something that needs to be managed, as you said, on a low level, but there's no need to have a strategy. And in that sense, Netanyahu does get credit for being the Prime Minister not of peace, but not of war, not of annexation, but not of disengagement, and for many people right now, that's good enough.